Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek.
This week, we're back on Enterprise to spend a night in Sickbay. A Kreetassan Tree gets a golden shower. Archer's dog Porthos gets a pathogen. Phlox saves the day while Archer combats sexual tension and learns how to apologize. Hoshi catches a bat, T'Pol rocks a treadmill, and the captain tries to do his best that he can.
Wow, this is the first time we've had no issues whatsoever. This is outstanding. Oh, Dot, thank you for the coffee, but what the hell is that floating on the top? And did you make it or did Heather send it? Okay, this is going to be interesting. Oh, the light's on. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here on another wonderful episode of Starfleet Underground. I am Captain Nathan Adams, and I'm here with the full crew. No guests this time. We're actually recovering from our last guest. They stayed a little bit longer, and we partied hard. We played that game that they had, and if you don't know what the game is, you got to listen to the last podcast to find out. I'm here with
Count of Monte Cristo.
Why'd you tell? I wanted them to listen to the other so we get more views.
Yeah,
oh my God!
We played it on the St. Andrew's Cross. It was the Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh, look. I have my science officer.
I thought it was lunch. We were doing lunch, and then they had this cross set up in the room.
Hi, I'm Heather Ferris. I'm the science officer. So that's what you two were playing when you were naked on the cross in that orgy room on the holodeck. Okay.
Yep.
No,
I was wondering what you guys were doing.
the cross was set horizontally, so we use it as a sushi serving table. And we have our computer guy.
I'm Patrick. I'm number one. I'm also the computer guy and the foreign species liaison.
And his code name is Sushi.
Yes, and we won't tell you why. You'll never look at sashimi the same way again. And we have our engineer.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rocky. I'm the engineer of the show and the ship. And Captain, I'm so sorry that new dot didn't work out. It was really good. That first week it was here, it ran through the ship and took care of our insect control problem. It was running through the corridors, yelling exterminate. It was a little bit noisy, but it got the job done. I had still no bugs, so that's good. Unfortunately, it ran through in the sick bay, kept looking for the doctor, and the EMH stopped activating itself because it kept getting zapped. It doesn't like doctors, apparently. And then it went bonkers and left on its own accord. It was chasing after the super furry Tribble with the big hair kind of look and the scarf. And unfortunately, that's the one that borrowed my screwdriver. It ran out the airlock trying to get away from this dot, and then the dot followed it out the airlock and never seen it again.
Is that what happened? I was wondering what was going on.
I couldn't, because the dots, okay, they hover, but this one was going almost head high, screaming, exterminate, exterminate.
Yeah, it took care of the bugs just fine. There are no bugs there's not a single insect on this ship right now. It's awesome.
It was wild. I went to the galley and he came up from in front of me and was like, you will tell me the location of the doctor. It's like, what the hell is going on with this one? The sick bay.
After the third hollow emitter I had to replace in sick bay, I was about ready to, throw the book at it, basically. But it left on its own accord following that Tribble.
That was really wild. Oh my God, the big Tribble that was kind of had the thing for bow ties?
The big curly hair, and it had the scarf. This one had the scarf. The bow tie one was okay. It was hanging out in another room.
I think I saw him roll into a blue box or something.
Oh, this ship is always full of exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Alrighty then, that explains a lot. So, reminder, this show is being brought to you by our wonderful Patreon users, as well as Section 31. They haven't bothered us for a long, long time, so that's a good thing. So I guess we're doing everything right according to them, according to the Book of 31. Also, subtle reminder, if you are under the age of 18, don't listen to us, please. You're going to grow up twisted and evil, so just get out of the room. Yes. And you need time to be able to enjoy that new virginal, innocent glow you have. So stop listening to us. Go listen to a mild podcast.
Mild? What's
Somebody that doesn't do stuff like we do. So politely, get the fuck out. Okay. Next we have here, we got any corrections?
Let me check subspace. we happen to have had a flawless show.
I think that Heather has a correction because I heard her mumbling to herself about something.
I was mumbling it, but then I was like, maybe that's next section and I should wait. I'm not sure.
All right.
Well, my correction, we were talking about starships that look like, well, not starships, but rockets that look like penises. And I kind of was talking about how they all look like a penis nowadays. I even said Spaceship One kind of looked like one. Well, I got the name wrong. Spaceship One was the Virgin Galactic one that had wings on it and had lots of portholes all over. Although technically it was, vaguely penis shaped, but with wings. So, but that doesn't count. So that was the wrong one to say. I was talking about the SpaceX rocket, Starship, and the SN-15 was one of the later ones that went up. And that looks like a silver fatty, as it were.
Oh, so it's like it's penis ship, but now with wings. Okay.
Exactly.
Silver fat, does that mean that it's like 65 and older?
It's old school. But no, I actually like the look of the Starship ones. That was actually of the big compilation of companies trying to put people in space for low Earth orbit and all that. That was one of the first ones to actually get up there and give people the zero G effect and then get them come back down. It's got the wings that they, what do they call it? They ferry up and down as it comes back into atmosphere. And
they always protect wings?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it helps you land correctly. Otherwise, because the other ones come in like a sci-fi show from the 50s and just retro rocket in. But this was one that actually flew in like an airplane.
Okay, that's very cool. At least we have that.
Not much to do with Star Trek.
No, but still it's cool information because everybody knows that wings protect. Okay, next we have news. What do you got for us there, Heather?
Hi, Captain. So this week's news, Brent Spiner is hinting at a new character in season 2 of Picard.
What?
His hints?
No, what? A new character?
A new character. A whole new character. So he's not Data? I always say Data.
No, he's not that guy.
He's not that guy. But he's also not a character he has ever played before. So he's not Soon or anything. Or lore.
That's going to be friggin' cool.
He's going somewhere no Spiner has gone before.
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder if playing a new character is a fresh hell for him. That was a little plug for his thing, so forgive me. That's cool info. Thank you. And how about you, Pat? What do you got for us?
Well, apparently, Anson Mount is going to be voicing Batman in the new DC animated universe Injustice film based on the video game franchise.
Oh
how fucking perfect is that? Oh my God. I can hear him. Oh, wow. All right. I'm going to have to watch it just because of that.
Yeah, yes. Apparently he's battling a tyrannical Superman who's been driven insane by tragic circumstances.
Holy shit. Batman versus Superman with the twist on top.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to that.
And in the image, Wonder Woman's got her lasso around one of Superman's arms as he's trying to, punch Batman.
That's going to be friggin' cool. Pro tip, with all of the stuff that Bruce Wayne does as a philanthropist, he actually helps way more people. Yeah, he actually helps way more people doing that he does as Batman.
Fascinating. So does he have a rocket ship too?
Little weird twist if you want to think about
I'm
that.
Sure
it's a bat rocket. And it's got a red tip.
Bill and all that.
Yeah, it's a Batmo rocket with a red tip.
It'd have to be, right?
Yeah.
All the billionaires are getting one.
They call it the Batcocket.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was really excited to invite Robin on board.
I was going to say Robin likes to ride it often.
And then towards the end of it turns into a battle ram. Okay.
If you're lucky.
Okay. Rocky, what do you got for us?
Oh, God. Hey, this is exciting. You guys remember they had that communicator that was out that actually had Bluetooth built into it. And you could talk into it and sync it with your phone and do all kinds of wonderful. It's like, I want one so bad. It's out. It's coming around again. So if you go to shopstartrek.com, you'll be able to find it. It's the Star Trek, the original series Bluetooth communicator, 55th anniversary limited edition. And this is pretty cool because, the packaging, this is fancier than some iPhones that come out. It's got its own carry case, which has a stand and a cool little stand thing that you can, put it together and display it with. But it's also a communicator that's Bluetooth. It looks just like the real actual thing. And I wanted one of these so bad when I first heard about it. You can pre-order it right now. Orders placed before the 21st will ship by
you already
the
did.
17th, according to this little tag here on the screen.
I have to admit, I actually wind up getting one at a convention one time. And you're right. The case looks like Starfleet. They have it all Starfleet nomenclature. It's well packed on the inside. You can actually use it as a speaker for your iPhone or Bluetooth connected device. It also has little buttons that will have crew members on there, from Spock, Uhura. It has Bones. It has Scotty, and it's really cool. It is an awesome thing. Moving to Star Trek stuff that's awesome. If you ever remember the phaser rifle that only kind of appeared at one time, it's the phaser rifle, remember in the episode where William Shatner used in the second Star Trek pilot when No Man Is Gone Before, we went after the Gary?
Oh, yeah. That big, ginormous weapon-looking thing. Yeah.
Well, if you want it and you have a spare $250,000 just to start, because that's the opening bid.
Holy cow.
I say the Communicator is a little bit more affordable than that.
Yeah.
Well, let me go to my petty cash drawer and just pull that out.
Yeah, but when it first went out, somebody owned it before back in 2013, and the opening bid back then was $231,000. So it's gone up. So not only you will receive the rifle if you do it, you will get also conceptual drawings and notes about the rifle, which comes from the desk of Gene Roddenberry himself.
Wow.
So yeah, and if you don't have that much money, if you want to go down kind of cheap, they have the original set of TOS scripts starting at $12,000. The original tunic worn by Leonard Nimoy in TOS starting at $20,000.
Whoa.
And an original Tribble from the classic episode Trouble with Tribbles. That for a cheap, measly $2,300.
Whoa.
That thing's got to have mange by now, man.
Our Tribbles are holding out a little. They're not worth that much.
I'm serious. And I found out that when they left the ship, sold himself like a whore. I'm going to be pissed if we don't get a cut.
Who wants a mangy Tribble that's over 55 years old?
It may not be mangy.
Hey,
but
don't
if you
talk. Dude, you just insulted like at least 8 Tribbles on this ship.
Yeah.
Seriously. And men and women that don't
You're
shave.
going to find poop in your quarters.
That's for sure.
I do all the time whenever the captain comes by.
You need to stop.
Oh my.
If you want to buy any of that stuff, or try to bid on any of them, it's on a website called entertainmentha.com. That's entertainment.ha.com. So that's it for our news. And we're going to go to the part where a lot of people tune in to either hear Patrick baritone voice giving his witticisms or Heather's gentle dulcet voice talking about different things until she rants. So Heather, you're up. Dulcet.
In my head, my voice is very squeaky and not what I want it to sound like.
You and me both, sister.
Yeah.
Well, that's your headcanon. It doesn't sound like to us. So
Okay, Captain. This week's episode is Star Trek Enterprise Season 2, Episode 5, A Night in Sickbay. It first aired October 16th, 2002. Teaser, Crabby Captain. Starfleet Command forces Archer to apologize to the aliens he insulted when he had sex. ate in front of him. The entire trip is torturous, humiliating, and Porthos picked up a parasite while they were on the planet, which means he'll have to spend the night in sickbay.
Like, Archer was just being a total dick.
Oh, total dick. Total.
I mean, it was all about him.
He had a lot up his ass.
All about how much he was offended. And it was very species centric. You know what I mean by
you
that?
mean
It was
egotistical?
very
Well, I mean, they kept him waiting for like 12 days.
12 hours.
Hours.
Hours? Oh, well, hours would seem like days. I guess I wrote that wrong.
He kept saying it was 6 days, and Hoshi kept going, no, 5. They kept us. It was 6 days, no 5.
He's not on good terms with these people. I mean, you got to remember, these were the people that came aboard the ship way back, and they were just eating lunch in front of them, and they were like thinking they just saw a ginormous, ugly orgy of sex going on.
Mm-hmm. Sex act, yeah. You're having sex. No, I mean you're eating. You're eating in front of them.
They were very offended, and so Archer has to go and hang out with these people or talk with them. I don't know what diplomatic thing they were supposed to be doing, but apparently they were offended again.
First off, if you're going to go to a planet with aliens that are that freaking sensitive, why on earth would you bring your dog? Dogs offend people, and there's people that aren't that sensitive, and they pee on on stuff and shit on stuff and throw up on stuff.
He sent the genetic makeup and it was like approved,
that
right?
Doesn't matter. They jump on the furniture. He was going to offend somebody.
And that's why you should send the Cerritos to do first contact or second contact to figure out what they're all insulting about.
Well, you know what it was is Archer's hair was parted on the wrong side.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Is that what happened?
That's why they were so mad.
I got
like, you're supposed to part it in the middle, damn it.
And I got banned from a planet once when I was a young officer because I waved at a native open palm. I just did a front of my palm facing them. I said, hey, and next thing you know, security jumped me and threw me in the shuttle because they said basically by doing that means I wanted to slap her and rape her from behind. It's like, get the
oh my goodness.
Seriously?
That's very specific.
Yeah. Just by showing the inside palm of your hand. It's like, what the hell? And apparently England is similar. They wave with the back of their hand.
Wait a second. Now you're not offending the people on the other side of the ocean, are you?
No, they wave at the back of their hand, but waving the front of their hand, I don't think means the same thing as it does on that planet.
They just don't go toodles with their hand facing out?
No. And just like if you do the peace sign, the peace sign is the same as the middle finger.
Sign, well, yeah, and you do your tongue in between the peace sign, that means something.
If you do the Vulcan sign, that's saying hi on Vulcan. So if you're on Klingon, does that mean like flipping someone off is saying hi on Klingon?
No, you just insult their honor and then they come kill you.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But remember, if you do the Vulcan sign, but then cross your fingers, it's total gang sign.
Oh, that's West Side.
I've been doing gang signs this entire time.
West Side.
Yeah,
I knew I learned that in high school. Okay,
don't wear specific solid colors when you're throwing those signs around.
Wait, no. Wait. Okay, so I'm going to get a little bit too in depth for this. So in Las Vegas, the West Side sign is you have to cross your middle finger and your ring finger together, and then the forefingers going out and the pinkies going out, and you bring your thumb in, and then you wave that, and that's the West Side. But if you do the Vulcan salute, you're crossing the pinky and the ring and the middle finger and the forefinger, so it's a totally different sign.
My fingers are stuck. What just happened?
I'm sorry. I just heard to avoid those areas of Vegas. So
yeah, avoid Vegas.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Archer was being a total ass. He wasn't ingratiating himself towards me as watching him.
At least he had a nice decon chamber to come back to.
Yeah, well, of course, and you could tell it must have been a ratings episode because everybody was sensually rubbing everyone with liquid that had stardust in it.
It was girl on Captain on Porthos.
Sparkly stuff.
Dog.
It had something for everybody.
Oh, that was quite an orgy.
I'm scared.
Yeah, you know there's people out there. That's right. Rub that dog.
Did you guys notice that T'Pol's outfit was just a little bit shorter than Hoshi's outfit?
Little.
Oh my God. She was showing nothing.
She had cheeks on the way out.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had cheeks on the way out. It's like,
and this was early 2000s, and that was like that many cheeks.
Yep, she was quite cheeky.
Very.
Okay. Let's go to the next section.
It's good to be part of the network, but not part of the big three network back then.
I could just imagine. I felt sorry for her as an actress. Could you pull him up shorter? I mean, just stop before a wedgie. A little bit shorter.
Before you can see the pubes.
Now rub this goop on Hoshi.
Yeah, little. Okay.
Lower.
Basically, they asked her to wear the Hooters shorts.
Yeah, keep it up, and you complain. We're gonna make you drop something and pick it up. So
yeah.
And Vulcan's only been from the waist.
While we rub glitter all over you.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Okay. Next section.
Hi, Captain. Act 1, Paw Patrol, 9:09 p.m. And by the way, I was going to do a poem and like a haiku because I wanted to mimic Harry Kim on the Delta Flyer. But then I watched the episode again for like the second time. And I'm like, oh, there is way too much I have to talk about. Okay. 9:09 p.m. Archer throws several bitch fits to anyone who will listen while Dr. Phlox runs many tests and has no idea what's going on. Porthos just hides his face under his paws, a face paw, if you will. T'Pol informs the captain that he offended the aliens again when Porthos pissed on their sacred godlike trees. If anything happens to Porthos, Archer says, I will be the one pissing on their sacred trees. 10:32 p.m. Archer can't sleep, so he goes to sickbay to verbally harass Phlox. Phlox strikes back by noisily cutting his toenails and feeding them to his critters while Archer tries to get a bit of shut-eye. It gets to be a bit too much for Archer, and he eventually leaves for his own bed.
Well, at least he didn't eat the cabbage. I mean, you know.
Yikes.
I thought it was so funny. I forgot about the part where Phlox is doing his toenails.
Oh
I was
my
like,
gosh.
oh
So
my
gross.
God.
And it's so noisy.
And then, it's just like, oh, wow, look at those toenails. And then I wonder how many takes did it take? Because you can only cut those once, right?
Oh,
How many sets of toenails did they have to make to shoot this scene?
Oh,
and then he
man.
feeds it to something that we don't see.
Which
Yeah,
was
what was
awesome.
eating his toenails? I mean, come on.
I guess it's a good source of fiber or something.
I don't
like-
know. But Phlox was
what
like,
Calcium, you know.
Phlox was like, you're going to be a bitch to me? I'll show you. I'm going to keep you up.
Well, do you guys know why Trip said at least you didn't eat cabbage?
Well, it was a
It's
reference back to the other episode where they were eating in front of him, right?
Well, no, because cabbage is known to give you gas.
Oh, okay.
So at least that's what I got from it. It's like, at least you didn't eat cabbage and fart in front of him, you know.
That's a undercover fart joke.
That might have been another signal.
Maybe farting in that alien race actually is a flirtation device.
Seriously, it just might be.
So
He just announced to the world he's a virgin. Okay, go ahead.
So during corrections, we were talking about like potentially having a correction, and I'm like, next section. Well, this is the section it happened on. So I'm going to go on a bit of a rant real quick. Well, actually, it's not real quick, so I apologize in advance.
Go for it.
And here she
Phlox-
wanted to get out early today.
Yeah, just in case. I know, right?
Rant.
Phlox said his autoimmune system is collapsing. And I'm like, what? Writers, please use a version of technobabble for medical, like medbabble or something. When you guys use like real jargons, people actually know what those words mean. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, that's not a wall. It doesn't collapse, right?
His autoimmune system is collapsing. Like, what the actual fuck is he talking about? Okay, medical lesson from our ship science officer. Here's your medical lesson for today. This is my job on the ship. Autoimmune. The definition of autoimmune is when the cells that normally attack viruses like the flu or COVID turn around and attack you and your healthy organs instead. When this happens to a particular organ or a particular area of the body over and over again on a daily basis, that is when the person develops a disorder or a disease. Now, there is no such thing as an autoimmune system. It's either a healthy immune system acting normally or autoimmune, which means your immune system goes haywire and attacks everything, including your own body. Autoimmune anything doesn't collapse. If it collapsed, that means that whatever collapsed is no longer a problem, which would mean that you have a healthy immune system. Rant over.
Very observant.
Well, 2 snaps in a
Yeah.
Dude, I was like, that seriously made me stop and like yell at my screen.
Yeah. No, there are things like this in science fiction that there's a thing on YouTube where they show a astronomer. I think she was an astronomer. They show her segments of shows and then they talk about, like the starship going into warp and whatever. And then she'll rant on about how like an asteroid is. Oh, it was an episode of Star Trek Next Generation where a star was exploding or something or other, like went supernova. And she's like, whoa. Stars don't do that. Stars don't do this. Stars do this. And she could talk about it for at least as long as Heather just talked about autoimmune systems. So it was one of those things where you get the person that actually knows what they're talking about says, okay, hold on. Let me tell you what's actually going on here and how this is complete BS. But they still love the show itself, which is cool because there's still elements of the show to like. Just not, you got to stretch the bounds of science fiction just a little bit to make things work sometimes.
Right. Well, Phlox is my favorite character, so like no, harm or foul on him. I'm sort of bitching to the writers.
What about his toenails, though? He cuts him off, and then he feeds him to one of his creatures. I just died when that. I love that sense of humor in the show with Phlox. It's just so classically awesome.
Scraping his tongue.
Yes.
And it's a big tongue. He could have been a poster for Kiss right there.
Right? Gene Simmons' long-lost cousin.
Yeah.
But I feel for him, just like if you're standing in a new environment that you're not used to, every stray noise that you're not used to will wake you up.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
The worst place to
Everything.
try to sleep is in a medical facility.
Seriously.
Especially if you're a patient, because they got you hooked up to things. If you ever had that experience, you sit there and hear machines beeping all the time. Good luck trying to sleep.
Now,
Yeah,
there's
right.
there's a little story that I have to do real quick about that. When I was hospitalized, there was an old man in the room next to me. Never met him, never saw him, but I heard him. And one night, I'm trying to sleep, and apparently he had a bone to pick with the nurses because he kept yelling out, "Puta! Puta!" And it's like, holy shit. And then this nurse walked by my room and I heard him mumbling. She goes, "I am tired of his shit." And she went into his room, and he was like, "Puta!" And I didn't hear anything from him for the rest of the night.
Wow.
It's like, wow. So in the morning, I was asking the nurses, what happened to that guy in the room that kept yelling puta? He just like stopped in midstream. She goes, yeah, we knocked him out. We gave him a sedative and put him out. And I was like, okay. So that was funny.
They put out his puta.
Oh, wow.
So I thought that was funny. Puta in Spanish means whore.
There are people you never give certain people a bad time, and one of them happens to be a nurse.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No.
But like you said, it was kind of interesting to see what goes on at night, because obviously Phlox was in his routine, and Archer was just
out at night.
Yes, yeah.
The freaks come out at night.
I love the line that he says, don't worry, the alarms are quite loud. So if something were to go wrong with Porthos, you would notice.
Or when Archer's like, well, how come they didn't know? We sent his genome down. He's like, well, they should have known if they'd taken the time to look.
The genetics have nothing to do with, what
Behavior.
With behavior. And of course, it's one thing that I worry about space travel. We're all excited to leave the planet and go visit places, but I'm worried about the actual science that can kill you, that could be out there. If not kill you, make things very uncomfortable. And I'm worried about that sort of thing happening once we go other places.
Science can kill you?
Well, you find some bacteria or something that makes your dick shrivel or something. I mean, you don't want that to happen.
Porthos's pee would not have killed the grass if they had just read the instruction manual for how dogs work.
Right.
Yeah, but they didn't, unfortunately.
They were literally just offended. I mean, the tree was like, yeah, do it, baby, do it. And they're like, you're pissing on our tree, stop it.
And the
That's our
tree's like,
sacred tree.
finally a golden shower. I've been wanting this forever.
Exactly.
It was an Alvera tree.
And then you also, poor Archer, he finally gets to sleep, and what happens? Batman escapes his cage, of course, because he's Batman.
Is that this section or the
Is
next
this
section?
section?
I
Is the
think
next
that's the
section?
next section.
Oh,
Should we-
then never mind. Let's go ahead. Unless there's anybody else got anything to say
I was
about Archer
just-
misbehaving.
The whole thing about this is they're trading for a plasma injector, right?
Yep.
The ship can't run on 3. It's only got 4, and they really want 5. I mean, it's running fine on 4. And I love this classic example of, working with your engineer or not working with your engineer, because if it works on 4, let's go with 4. We'll be fine with 4. And you're like, but no, you got to have the 5th
Spare.
backup.
You gotta have a
it.
spare.
It's you. I mean, just because you can doesn't mean you got to have contingencies, especially when you're in a starship in the middle of space.
Especially.
I love when T'Pol busted Archer. He's like, there are some things more important than plasma injectors. She's like your pride.
Yes.
That was harsh.
That was cool.
I was like, damn, snap, girl.
Like, yeah, exactly. Yes. I was like, oh, damn, girl, go.
I love it. And she gives it just a slightly more condescending look that she normally does.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love her shade. I love it.
So she was like, y'all made me wear booty shorts. I'm going to fucking read you left and right.
Oh,
so I thought that was
cool. When Phlox is, Archer's like, what, you have a degree in this or whatever? And Phlox is like, yeah, I've got 6 degrees in veterinarian medicine. Oh, also dentistry, hematology, botanical pharmacology. And just like, he kept going. He's like,
and
okay,
psychology.
fine. Yeah, and then of course,
No, it's psychiatry later.
But you find out later it's psychiatry. But it was just like, oh, dang, okay, he actually knows what he's talking about. I should shut the fuck up. Yes,
but his database didn't contain any information on bugles.
Well, beagles.
It'd be just like
But he said it didn't contain any information on bugles. I'm like, well, horns probably don't fall under veterinary medicine.
Beagle is a very hard word to spell.
it'd be correcting Phlox when it comes to medical and stuff. It'd be like somebody going up to Heather and goes, "Did you know in Vegas that dealers can demand tips?"
The tip of what?
What kind of tip are we demanding?
Oh, not that tip.
Oh.
Whose tip?
It's not just the tip.
It's
somebody tried to school Heather on Vegas dealer etiquette. They would not go in the right pool on that one. Okay, I guess we should move on.
Aye, Captain. Act 2. Archer's Blue Balls. 12:09 a.m. Archer goes to the gym and ends up in a treadmill competition with T'Pol. He obviously couldn't keep up. At 1:32 a.m., Porthos sneaks a bite of peanut butter and goes into anaphylactic shock from his peanut allergy. Dr. Phlox to the rescue. An awake Archer starts to throw a temper tantrum again, triggering the psychologist in Phlox. Dude, you need to get laid. Don't want to talk about that as Archer hurries back to his sickbay bunk. But before he could fall to sleep, a bat attacks, and that will get the heart pumping.
That was funny.
Okay, so for Porthos being in anaphylactic shock, that dog in the case was not a dog.
Was that one of the stand-ins? There was a couple stand-ins.
That was some kind of like model dog,
The dog was chill.
They used it in two scenes. They used it in that scene, and they used it in the scene where, it happens later in the episode where you obviously wouldn't want to put your dog.
What, from that point on, every time you see Porthos in that case, it's not a real dog. You can just, the first time you see it, you look at it, you look at the hair on it, and you're like, that's fake. Okay.
It's a stuffed animal.
You're standing too close to your high definition set, sir. You need to stand further back.
But they figured also the dog's going into shock, and it's like, that's a calm shock. Dog's not doing anything.
Yeah.
Anaphylactic shock is not pretty.
So not only do the scientific people have to stretch their viewing point, the dog lovers have to stretch their viewing point a little bit too.
Come on. They can pretend that they're in space and do all the stars and all that stuff shooting by the ship. They can at least Photoshop a real dog in there.
Photoshop was like version 0.8 at this time, right? Maybe 0.2 or something. So it was like an early version of Photoshop, so they couldn't really use it for that. But putting an actual dog in this space and get it calm enough to shoot. I imagine, there's a reason they say there's two things you don't work with in movies. You don't work with children, you don't work with dogs or animals. Because it's not easy to work with them sometimes.
They don't listen.
I would imagine this would be one of those times. It doesn't matter how much you offer to pay them. They're not going to sit there and do exactly what you want them to do at this moment in time.
Well, they could have smoked him out. That would have mellowed him out.
It was also an early version of the marijuana laws back then too.
But let's also show that women always get the job done, because you had Phlox and Archer all over the place with butterfly nets. Let's get it. We can't catch it. And then Hoshi comes in out of the blue and just reaches up and plucks it from the air. Goes, "Hey, what's wrong?"
Why are you scaring it? You're scaring the poor thing. Why are you freaking it out?
Because they're trying to round it up in a certain way, and she's just standing there, walks in. Hi.
And she just reaches out and grabs him like a freaking Matrix, dude.
Thank you. Again, it shows that women are top tier. So here you go. I thought that was really funny. And then, of course, you have with Archer is arguing with T'Pol again. And T'Pol's making all valid points, but Archer might as well put his fingers in his ears and go, nah, I'm not listening.
Yeah, and I love what T'Pol says to Archer. She has really quite a few good quotes to him. One was, "You're once again ignoring the consequences of your actions."
Yep.
And then the other one that I really love from her, where I was like, yeah. She's like, "No, I'm questioning your priorities."
Well, yeah.
She's calling it right out. She's totally calling it right out, saying, "Archer, this is what you're doing incorrectly." Kind of, hello?
Yeah.
Well, he's the captain of a ship. He should. he knows that other cultures have different values and mores.
It's so plain enough that even the Vulcans can see it. I mean,
yeah, I mean, he's completely like indignant over, this supposed offense that they've committed. He's got blinders on. He's not seeing the big picture. All he's seeing is just his anger.
Even Trip kind of points it out, says you're being the diplomat, right? You've got to be you've got to be the big diplomat. Put your diplomatic pants on and do your thing.
And why you bring a dog to, like, I agreed, let's not even talk about the dog is just gonna pee or shit and what. But what happened if he ran off and humped the leg?
Yeah.
Right,
Because he doesn't have a leash.
Yeah.
He doesn't walk around with the leash.
You gotta have the dog on a leash, especially on a brand new planet.
And apparently he did not.
Dude, people, put your dogs on a leash. Just saying.
Thank you.
I mean, there are dog people out there in the world, and you go and visit their place, and sometimes, you walk into their house, and your dog's just running around all over the place.
No, it's fine if it's at the house.
Totally fine. I mean, if you go to a body shop and they've got a dog at the body shop, same sort of thing. You walk in,
because that's your property.
That's the dog's place. It's going to roam everywhere. But the second you take it out into some other place, you've got to, latch it down.
Big difference.
Funny though, generally I like Archer, but this episode I was really
annoyed,
finding it hard to find reasons to like him. It was just
he's being a self-centered ass in this one.
Yeah, it was really frustrating.
This is what Heather's been talking about the entire series of Enterprise. This is the episode that magnifies it to the level we can look at it and go, oh, that's what she's talking about.
Once again, Archer is a dick.
And then you get Sensei to Hoshi. Hoshi is like, okay, they're sending
Were you going
a
to call
hail.
her a sensei?
No, well, she is. The way she grabbed that thing is pretty cool. She calls down and wants to apologize. And the first thing they say, it's only proper protocol that you sync your clock. It's like the middle of the fucking night here and you wake me up. What the hell? Why can't you do it right? Be courteous.
One way to get my attention is call me at the wrong hour of the night.
Serious.
It was the middle of the night on the ship. It wasn't the middle of the night on the planet.
But for them, it probably was something in the middle of the night for them or in an opportune time. It's just like, you're not going to call over to like Germany.
That part of it, though, really bothered me because these people are so, set on their protocols and they're
a little anal.
And it's like, you expect another culture to automatically adjust their time to yours.
It's like expecting the starship to meet with another starship in space and them all be facing the right direction.
Right. It's like okay, so you're upset that they ate in front of you, but you expect them to set their time to your time?
Well, that's common practice. It's like find out what time it is locally. Like if you're a space alien coming in to visit Earth and you want to meet a specific president on a specific continent because, they control the entire planet, apparently, you got to at least synchronize your chronometer so you can talk with them. Because if you're going to call up the president in the middle of the night and saying, take us to your leader, it's not going to work at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
it's hubris on both sides.
Well, they're down there and they're like, we're on a planet. We can't change it. If you're going from planet to planet, wouldn't you change your time to like focus or fit the planet? So I kind of see the courtesy part of it.
But it's like calling somebody computer support and you call and somebody wakes up. Hello? Goes, yeah, I'm with Help Desk. I'm here to fix your iPhone. It's fucking 2:30 in the morning. Oh, okay. You can call us back.
Well, I'm waiting for the warranty calls at 3 a.m.
Yeah, but it was really wild. And Hoshi, I'll give her credit. She's been front and center also this episode. I like the fact that they gave her a lot more screen time. However, with Archer did his little blow up, that's when Phlox really got him. It's like, Captain, you need to get fucking laid. You're just like too miserable.
Well, totally. Phlox was all like playing Dr. Ruth. He's like, why does DePaul's opinion matter to you?
Yeah, it's like totally. It was like, what are you what are you getting on with this DePaul thing for? It's why is she distracting you so much?
And then Archer's talking and he's like, you didn't answer my question.
Exactly.
You're dodging it.
It's like,
and he's like, what, are you a psychiatrist too? And he's like, yeah, actually, I am.
It's like, I have 3 wives.
And then Archer's like, fuck this, I'm getting out of here.
The exact line was, because I wrote it down because I loved it. I suppose you're going to tell me you have a degree in psychiatry too.
Absolutely. Yes. I loved that scene too. It was so good.
It was awesome. I loved it. And he's like, I do not. It's like, Trip longer. You know, how come you don't go to him?
Yeah,
totally.
And he brought up good points, but I love how he was just so blunt about it. And he's like, when was the last time you were laid?
It's like, seriously, it's like, dude, just like go whack off or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I would have loved if Phlox goes, we have an animal for that in here. I keep
Oh, my. Oh, wow.
We have a lizard that's compatible with Porthos that you can use.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's the best age.
It's just, okay, I haven't done this bad joke in a while. Military joke about being in a desert. There's this new guy who's on a forward operating base, and he goes, what do we do if we get horny? And the sergeant says, you see that camel over there? And that guy goes, fuck that. And he walks off. 2 weeks later goes by, and he's looking at the camel, and goes, oh, I'm really horny. What the hell? And he comes up behind the camel, and he does it onto the camel. And then he goes up to the sergeant and goes, hey, Sarge. He goes, yeah. You remember you told me to use the camel if I got horny? It wasn't as bad as I thought. It was actually pretty good. He goes, you did what? He goes, I screwed the camel. He goes, no, you asshole. You're supposed to ride it to the next town. They had a whorehouse.
Yeah, never assume.
Yeah, never assume you'll make an ass out of yourself.
Seriously. Okay, I guess we can go to the next section after that.
Was it one hump or two humps?
Oh, my.
If he was really horny, it would have been done in one hump.
A 2-hump jump?
Seriously.
The camel's like, I had a good time.
Really.
Okay, I Captain. Act 3, Eyes Up Here. Hoshi walks in and saves the frightened bat from 2 large monsters chasing it. Finally, Archer can go to bed. Still in sickbay, the captain has an epic wet dream, waking up with massive wood. Perfect timing for DePaul to stop by with some food. Wait for it. Oh, the Freudian slips are glorious, and Phlox is in the background enjoying every minute of it. Just then, Porthos goes downhill, and Phlox must try an experimental procedure. Archer's not thrilled about it, but it's his decision whether they should do the procedure or not.
So, do you guys know what Pillarian slips are?
What are they?
When Phlox tells Archer, two Pillarian slips within 30 seconds. It's a term to describe when an individual inadvertently says something that displayed their inward feelings towards the person or object to which they were referring. And this was a theory posited by Dr. Sigmund Freud.
Oh, this like going to someone ask for change, and it's like, do you have 2 nipples for a dime?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, yeah, he really, after that dream.
Hey, eyes up here.
Seriously. He was like, could you keep me abreast of the situation?
Or can you send me your lips?
And the look on her face, I swear to God, it was like, eyes up here.
This is like, it's so funny.
But she was just like, I am not amused.
She was really, but yeah, we got to talk about that on the next section. But yeah, she really, just like, what are you saying? What are you doing? I give her credit. She was cool and Vulcan-like when he messed up.
Yeah.
It was just sad about his dream, though, that Porthos died. And
yeah, but
he
glittered. He could have been on Twilight.
Yeah, that's true. And they had some hand sex holding underneath an umbrella, which,
sexy time.
Which led right back into the blue decon room.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times are we going to see that decon room?
And then Phlox helping them
whenever
along.
They need to get the ratings up.
Exactly.
Yep. And then Phlox decide to help him. Okay, everybody out except for Archer and Paul. Bow chicka wow wow.
Yeah, you practically heard the wah wah guitar going.
Working at the car wash.
Yeah.
And he's just like, do Vulcan breasts look anything like human breasts, Captain? Look.
Yes, there's 2 mounds with nipples. Yes, they look the same.
Okay, so you saw the time notes. They were putting in the times. So 2:30, then 2:49. So they had this whole dream sequence between 2:30 and 2:49. I'm like, wow, that's some fast dreaming.
Oh my God.
He was horny
and exhausted.
That's what he was thinking about before he went to sleep.
Yeah, he was horny. But I like the idea how he explained how Porthos got his name. That was kind of cute in a way.
Yeah,
which I kind of thought he would. Yep, I kind of thought that's why he named them that way. But if you notice, this is why Archer had sent Scotty to a frozen tundra planet when he transported him to God knows where. If you remember in the motion picture in the first one, where he finds Scotty and he's like in a barren planet somewhere. And it's like, why? Well, I did a transporter to Captain Archer's dog Porthos and didn't know where it went. So he sent him there. Well, wasn't Captain, he was Admiral.
Transwarp.
Transportation.
Something with his transwarp formula, and he was.
Yeah, it was an unusual transportation. They don't normally do that.
He practiced with it.
Wait, what was funny though is when Phlox was telling him that he was going to do the transplant, and he's like, "You're going to drown my dog? Only for an hour, Captain."
Just for an hour. I love there's a sequence and lines in there that are just so good. And then of course he's getting the transplant from a lizard, so his dog's going to only slightly disappear once in a while.
Well,
Right.
it's also funny too, because you're right, that line was hysterical, but the way they said it was so perfect, because Archer's in such distress, like, "You're gonna drown my dog," and Phlox has this big old smile and he's all happy and cheerful and
Like normal.
Only for an hour, Captain. We should be able to resurrect him once the surgery is complete. I'm like, holy crap, that was a cheerful answer.
And you've done this surgery how many times before?
Oh,
None.
Never.
None. No, but I like how he put Archer in his place, basically reminding him, look, it's either this or nothing.
Yeah.
You can go have your fucking little pity party and temper tantrum in the corner of the room. When you're done, let me know. So every once in a while, I really like Phlox shows some real steel in how he does things. So that was good.
Well, you have to if you have 3 wives, right?
Oh, that's for damn sure.
And Toenails like that.
And Toenails like that.
Oh my God. It's like, wow. Okay,
I
I guess.
he had to use a steel file to get those suckers down.
Oh, serious?
I was surprised he wasn't using the phaser.
Right?
He might have. I don't know. Let me check the phaser. Does he have toenail clipping movement?
It could have been charging. That's probably why.
It's really... No, Dot, I don't need toenail clippers. We're talking on the show. Could you leave with those things? And that's a hedge trimmer.
No, but Dot, he
Where
needs
the
to
hell do we
manscape.
have a hedge trimmer?
Oh, how do you know? When did you see it?
So,
The Dot told me.
okay. I didn't even hear that.
He's
it
looking
left.
aboriginal.
Oh, please. And you only have to worry if I put it in braids. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Next section.
Hi, Captain. Act 4. Good news all around. During the experimental surgery, Archer uses this time to have a free therapy session with Phlox. No worries, he could do 2 things at once. Archer eventually apologizes for being a dick, and Phlox pitches a tent, casting shade on him. It's time for the final ceremony with the aliens, and Archer is sure to bring his cheat sheet. And he passed with flying colors. Quest complete. When Archer gets back, he has some more good news. The surgery worked and Porthos is okay again. It's time to take him home and feed him some cheese. Farts be damned.
Yay.
That last part where he's working on him and he's like, are you sure everything's going to be all right with Porthos? Like, oh yeah, he'll just disappear when he gets scared. That made me laugh. He goes, what? And he's like, I was only joking, Captain. It's like, lighten up,
So,
get laid.
Porthos is a bakery company. Porthos is the dog.
Well, that's what I just said. So it was kind of cool. But the redeeming part, I think, about Archer this time is when he finally realizes that, yeah, I've been fucking up, so I got to make amends. And when they had him down there with the Barbie twisted braids, doing the thing with the chainsaw in the wood, that made me laugh. He's all oiled up. He's got tats on him.
Yeah, he was done up, man.
He was all, and they look at each other and goes, that's right, Cuban bitch, dance for us. And he laid them all out, and they looked at us, apologized, said, you have your masturbation material? I do too. He's done well.
Oh, damn.
Ew.
Yeah, but he
Ew,
apologized. Yeah, but I thought it was kind of cool. The one thing that I noticed that I thought was interesting at the very end when he's apologizing to Paul, and it was about him, like, you know, interspecies and stuff. And to Paul basically kind of teases him, which I thought was pretty funny. She's like, well, you know, when you have tension between crew members wrapped up like that and having a romantic encounter, you know, but it's a good thing that we work together, isn't it? So,
It's sort of like being friend zoned.
Yeah.
it really, it's like you can look at this and you look at that, but you get none of it.
And only in Decon.
Oh my God, that's the only time you could touch me is in Decon. Which explains why he always takes her to away missions.
Oh, we got to go for another trip.
So perfect.
We're going to go for another trip without Trip.
You know, it was really, the last part was redeeming.
You notice how the captain doesn't travel with any other males?
Yeah.
Except
I
for
noticed
Porthos?
He's like, he surrounds himself with the women. So, yeah.
And do we know that Porthos is a male?
And I actually think Porthos is played by a female.
Archer really should learn from Phlox, because Phlox had about how many multiple wives?
3
and 30,
wives, 2 husbands,
kids,
and
30 kids,
42 possibilities of hooking up within. It was mind-boggling.
And they're so open. Go ahead.
No wonder why he ditched his family and joined Starfleet.
Oh my God, for peace and quiet.
He just needed a break, man.
In later episodes, his wife comes on board the ship and she starts hitting on Trip. And he goes to Phlox, and Phlox is like, yeah, go ahead. Sleep with her. She's cool. It's like, but I just can't do this. Like, you don't have to get permission from me. Just go for it. She's got partners all over the place.
It's all good, man.
Yeah, it's all good. Go ahead, take it.
This is part of it.
It's like,
I wonder if Denobulan women have tongues just as long as the Denobulan men.
Ooh.
Well, with a long tongue like him, I'm sure he keeps the Denobulan women happy.
I know, right?
And then they could say that your tongue has gone where no man has gone before.
Oh.
Literally. Okay.
Black hole.
This was really, really kind of fun. The last part, I think, made up for Archer being an asshole is that the good thing about anyone who's an asshole is that if they can learn from their experience. And he actually learned from it.
Yeah, he realized at the end that he was being quite the dick.
Yeah. And he went on an apology tour and he did the weird dance with the village people's body oil and the sparkles, and he did the braids, and he did the whole thing. And so I thought that, and they had to cut the tree. They really hate piss because they cut up that tree.
Yeah, they chopped the tree up, and not just one. They didn't just chop it down. They sliced it up.
Yep.
I was thinking, isn't that offensive?
Yeah, well,
I guess they really like the trees treated a certain way.
Oh, man.
You know, but
if
it was.
If your dog's gonna pee on it, we're gonna use it for coasters.
Yep. And then he picks up his dog, and the dog. They switch the dog out with a live dog, and Porthos jumps up in his arms, and he goes to leave, and you could totally see the dog looking at his trainer when they're leaving. So, but it was that part I think redeemed the episode.
Well, I was kind of bored with this episode. Really, I was like, eh.
So, what rating would you give it?
Yeah,
like maybe a 5 at the most.
Yeah.
5. How about you?
I mean,
Heather?
it was just so like, it was like, oh God, here we are, like this full on like meltdown from Archer, who's being so superior, thinking that, you know, human species is the only species and the right species. And it was just like, I don't know. It just struck me wrong. I was just like,
Archer had tunnel vision, and he was just either having a really bad time or really, really, really did need to get laid, because the guy was tweaked.
It was. How about you, Heather? What would you give it?
Probably a 3. So I agree with Patrick on it being a really crappy show. And, well, I shouldn't say really crappy show, because there were some good points in it. And it was funny in some portions, but it was really crappy having to watch Archer do a temper tantrum. So I agree with that. Also, going from Lower Decks, which is a series that I absolutely love to death and always had high marks, to going to Enterprise, which I do not like. I think that just bumped it down a little bit. No offense to Enterprise, it's just comparison. I just had an awesome episode last week, and now I have to watch this. But I think what bumped it up in the numbers was Phlox and the sexual innuendos that it kept doing.
Think of this episode as being the ginger when you're having sushi. It's cleansing your palate, so when we see you the next week's show, it'll be better.
I like that. That's a good perspective.
And how about you, Rocky? What would you give it?
Oh, my goodness. I was enjoying this. I mean, the pacing, you're right. The pacing's a little different because it's just one night in sickbay. So that's only what, you know, you've got to pace all of this within one night, and you got to add the drama over the dog and all that stuff. And it was very much out of character from what I believe Archer to be, the kind of guy I expect him to be. So he was really out of all sorts. And that was really strange. However, the comical elements in this episode were really fucking funny. So I had to give it a much higher mark for that. I would probably be in a 7 or 8 for my Enterprise ratings, because it definitely wasn't the tip top, but it had some huge classical moments with Phlox and with DePaul. And I got to love that. And at the end of it all, they did end up with 2 spare plasma injectors as well as a new one they
that's
needed.
True.
So
for myself, the reason why I'm giving it my mark here, I'm giving it about a 5.5 for one reason. Actually, for several reasons. One is like what everyone says here, was the humor in it. I really like Phlox and the actor that plays him. I thought he had some high marks. I like the fact how they focused on Hoshi basically being almost like second in command. She was doing the running. She showed lightning quick reflexes. I like how T'Pol really kind of nailed Archer to the cross. But I also like the fact that he learned from his mistakes. And that's the point, because I'm all about redemption. If you can learn from his mistakes and do an honest effort to change, that's always a good thing. So those are my points. Now, question number 1, what are we watching next week?
Next week, we are watching, it's going to be Star Trek Prodigy. And do we have, yes, we do have a name for it, actually. Episode 1 is called Lost and Found.
Outstanding. Cool. So those of you out there, that's the homework. Make sure you watch it. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do, and hit that notification button so you can tell when we've posted a new episode, as well as hit like and follow. You can hit all of our social media accounts. We're on the Instagrams, we're on the Twitters, we're on Facebook. I mean, what the hell? We're even on SoundCloud. So just go ahead and listen to us. And if you found us on YouTube, be aware that you can get us on Apple Podcasts as well as SoundCloud. So there's that. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. All the crew members have things we have to run off and take care of. So we're going to be a little bit early today. Be safe out there and enjoy what's left of your week. And remember, just don't have a great week, but make it so.
And if you can, support the show by going to patreon.com/Starfleet Underground. Lots of perks to choose from, and you might even like some of them. Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter at StarfleetUnderG, and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet Underground.